3. Hey everyone, this is Gamers Comms here. This is CEO Hoggie 1, and I'm here with my colleague here. Will you please introduce yourself?
Founding fathers are driving
Neon Omega.
Flag design changes.
Yep, and we're back here with another day of the Tentacles commentary. About time. This is why when you have real life calling us here for us to, to get stuff taken care of. But last time we were here in the colonial times, yes, with Benjamin Franklin, Washington, during, I want to say, at the end of the Revolutionary War. But other than that, this is where we're at now. So let me ask you there, Omega, you remember Hoggie here?
Yeah, I remember Hoggie. He's the lazy rocker of the group.
Yeah, so you know anyone like that in real life?
Oh, I know plenty of people who are like that.
I remember someone from high school who was kind of like Hoggie here. Well, he wasn't fat or anything, but he was, a guy who was into the whole death metal rock kind of thing and everything else. But yeah, so that's who Hoggie kind of reminds me of when someone from high school.
Well, that's cool.
Alright, so for those folks who are wondering here, yes, this is the same hotel building that we saw from Bernard from the present time here. And we're going to be in this house. Everything's going to be happening in this hotel, or house as some people want to call it. So, yeah, that's what's going to be going on here. But with adventure games, you have to talk to people, and if anything's not glued down, you pick it up, because it's always going to be used somehow, one way or another. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing about it.
Would I need to go to a specialty store?
This kind of game does point out the variety of people you can deal with in a clique, whether not even be themed or not.
Nice talking to you.
Mm-hmm. You got the nerd, you got the rocking fanatic, who is usually like Hoggie here,
right.
Not on physical appearance all the time, but on the attitude base definitely.
Very.
Then of course you got the quirky girl.
Laverne, she's for the medical school stuff, but hey, let me one of the founding fathers. Look, it's Benjamin Franklin.
Just wait.
He broke the fourth wall there, didn't he? There, kind of. He knew we were looking at him. And kind of thing there.
Do you know Red Edison? He's a scientist.
Oh, you gotta give, these whole point-and-click adventure games some kind of credit. They can break the fourth wall, and if it's funny, it works there. Sometimes breaking the fourth wall is not always too funny there, depending on how it's done.
Well, technically, it is a good theme to have, is breaking the fourth wall when it comes to games, because after a while, games tend to be a bit bland
the discoverer
later on
of
as you play through it, and just by having fourth wall jokes, you tend to liven it up a lot more.
That is true. I mean, take a look at some, if we want to talk about another, adventure game, kind of take a look at, some of the Sam and Max games. Yeah, they do break the fourth wall. What was it? One that's for, 2000s, the ones I played. Yeah, they actually do break the fourth wall pretty good, and it's pretty funny. I do like that. But if you want someone who really breaks the fourth wall, look at Deadpool for it. Go play the game. You'll see exactly how Deadpool pretty much just breaks the fourth wall there constantly, but he's pretty good at it. It's not a bland thing when he does it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's the thing I worry about is if they're going to do it, how are they going to do it? It's like you can take a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day. They always break the fourth wall, but the question is how do they do it? What's the question I have to say.
Benjamin Franklin just call his kite the Francocopter?
Yeah, pretty much. He called it the Francocopter, but Hoggie corrected him and said, no, it's a kite. They've been here for thousands of years. I love Hoggie right here.
Or were those guys Norwegian?
I was speaking figuratively. What actually is happening?
Yeah, if I remember right, isn't it like
Sweden is part of Scandinavia, but still.
Right. Well, wouldn't like Thor,
Aren't you
like
missing a
wouldn't
key or
Norse
something?
mythology like fall down
The
into
key
like
to
countries
discovery
like
is
into like
varying intellect, my boy.
like Norwegian and
Varying
such like that
intellect
there,
and
or
original
Norse?
science.
yeah.
Norse
No,
was
I mean
based
a real
around
key
the
key.
region
You
of
mean the where
between
the heck did I put
Iceland
my keys
and
kind of key?
Yeah.
Finland.
Oh, okay.
That's a manual
all
device.
all
It
that
needs
Europe
no power.
area
Seriously, man, what are you
did
thinking?
believe in the Norse gods.
All right, I was just wondering there. I wasn't too sure if it was Iceland there. I mean, I kind of remember there was like a DuckTales episode where they kind of said, yeah, guess what? Here's something of Iceland, but it looked like it was like Greenland and all that stuff there. I'll have to show you that one later, right? If I can find it sometimes.
Charges the kite.
Right.
Oh, I love
then
Hoggie
what?
here. This is what.
Then
This
the
part when you keep saying and, you know, say and what, and you just
then what?
hear what the characters can be saying here.
Me, of course.
And then what?
Yeah, that's going into that.
I glow
why
with its almighty
gag.
power.
Pretty much, but it
And
works
then
with
what?
Hoagie here. If you try doing it with Bernard, the nerd, he isn't going to ask why unless it's something more
And then
complicated
what?
kind of thing here,
The world
by comparison.
kneels before me, asking me to guide it with my mighty benevolence.
And then what?
So what's he trying to do? You think he's trying to take over the world, or what with that, the way he's saying that?
And then what?
Technically, he has done it, considering how the world runs on his $100
Oh, I see.
bill.
Well,
It's
I'm
like
going to
space
back
on it.
away now, just in case.
Carry on.
That is true. I mean, can't really deny that.
And he didn't even become a president, so yeah, he's one of the more manipulative characters in history, all because of pretty much equity.
Yeah, that is pretty too, but isn't someone else who's on let's see, like on the dollar bill, isn't on coins, isn't the president either one? It was like a
The
Treasury or
Constitutional
someone
Convention
like that, I
invites
think.
comments, critiques,
From what I can remember, I
That
forget.
is-
Constitution.
Go ahead.
Everyone that is on the currency has been a president except for Franklin.
Okay. What about for the
Yeah.
coins? I thought there was someone who wasn't a president that wasn't on there. You know, wasn't a president. I thought. I don't remember.
Cold.
Cold? I'm freezing.
Yeah, so here we have these two guys here. We have Hancock, the one with the blanket, and the other one is Thomas
don't you have
Jefferson
some hot coffee?
on the right, if I do believe so.
I can't stand coffee. It makes
Now, let me ask
irritable.
something. If you were to
Want
see these guys in
bang
real
my
life,
head
would you think they
against
would
the
talk
wall.
like the way that any of these guys here have done so far or not? Out of curiosity.
Of course.
Have you
Of
tried
course not. This is all
decaffeinated
comic
coffee?
relief.
I'm
Knowing how they
talking
talked, it was
about
probably
that.
worse.
Well, they did use the old English language.
huh?
Old
What
English
clue you in
language.
with the shiver
Man, I'm getting tongue twisted over here.
the deathly pallor
Yeah,
of the
probably
shadow
there.
teeth?
I mean, take a look at how Shakespeare wrote, and you get a glimpse of
Why
how
don't you build
everyone
a
talked
fire?
back then.
Well, I keep
That's how I can
asking
say that.
Jefferson to build a fire,
Right.
but he won't. Says he needs the log for
And you know something? Now that I'm thinking about, like, was it this past part of it? I remember someone saying, what was it here, that
He's going to
in
give the
the
log
instruction
to
manual
starving
for this part,
children.
they said, do not
I
use
don't
this game
get
as a
it.
reference for your school report. It does not, it won't
George,
count.
I spent the winter in Valley Forge, Washington.
Because you know kids would, you know, who are playing this game would try to use something like this on a school report and everything.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
How come you sign your name
I wonder if
so
anyone
big?
really has done it. That would have been funny as hell. Yeah, so there was this guy named Dr. Red Edison who had a house
You mean you have,
/
like, a
inn,
childhood
and
complex?
and they wrote the Declaration of Independence there.
A friend once told me that women go
Oh boy,
crazy
that
over
would have been
guys
funny
with
to
a
see
chronogon.
that.
was invented.
What was that?
And the
What are you guys
Chronogon was
doing
invented
in
in
here?
this era.
We're writing
Forget the Owl House. We're having something that's more portable than the Owl House. The Chronogon. Whatever. Yeah, right.
don't say draft. You'll only make me colder.
Wimp.
Ah, cold joke. Get it? He's cold.
Why don't you put a coat on?
I'm wearing a coat, you nitwit. I've even got this.
Hey,
blanket
Hoggie
to
can't see. He
make
has
me
all that
this,
rocker
and I'm
hair right in
still
front of him.
freezing.
I'm surprised it isn't longer. You kidding me?
Have a what?
Sheesh. Like he would be able to see out of there. Go ahead.
Don't you know when it comes to
Shouldn't you guys be working
hardcore
instead of
rock
just sitting
band
there?
logic, you can see through any sort of hair, regardless of how thick it is around your eyes.
That is true. Yes, it is. That is very true. I guess what we call Hoggie here is the 90s rocker here then, instead of how we have the 2000s rockers, you know what I mean? And here I'm trying to
An
think.
interesting question that I noticed, is this taking place before or after the Revolutionary War?
I would think I would think after here, because they say they make reference saying that when George Washington was in Valley Forge and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's after here.
Hey, tall dog.
That's what I would think here. Like once. Listen, they're just trying to get themselves established. They tried doing that during it, I believe, but at the same time they had to focus on the war, so I would think this is more after. I would think so. What would you say to that?
After, especially with them drafting for a constitution,
Dude,
Mr.
is that like
joke.
the Constitution?
Right now it's just
pretty much.
a constitution, I'm afraid. We hit a slight creative block right after the
Well, like I said here,
That's
you
why
know,
we put up a
this should be
suggestion
after
box
here, but
over
if
there.
this is somehow before, I would think, how is it before? Because when,
Has anyone ever told
yes,
you
I know
you're a
Benjamin
very
Franklin
snappy
came,
dresser?
you know, down to, I want to say they're in Virginia, I want to say, in this part, when, I think, when,
Those
what is
are
it here?
impressive
When they were trying to come up with, you know, the new laws for the country, you know, for the United States, when there was only the 13 colonies back then. Yeah, I know Benjamin came down, but wasn't he, you know, somewhere else for the most part, kind of thing here?
What was your favorite part?
Yeah, I believe so. And I just realized that they have a naval door,
I like the we the
For
people part.
the one in the
That's
doorway
not
over there on
in
the
the
left.
Declaration
Oh,
of...
to the kitchen.
Say, that's
Oh,
not
yeah, I
bad.
see what you're talking
Maybe
about.
we can use it.
Wait, why would they have a naval door there? I know if we're talking about a restaurant for raiders to go in and out,
Lady
well, I
Brock.
guess it kind of works,
What's
kind
going
of
to
not
happen
for
later?
a hotel, I guess. You know what I mean? Or house or whatever.
Yeah. I also love the accuracy that they have for the picture to the right of Jefferson. How it's a
Excuse
wild
me.
turkey, because that was supposed to be the original country bird.
Yep, that was supposed to be, but what happens instead? Let's see. If I remember right, it was Hancock and Benjamin who said,
you're like George
yeah, we want the,
Washington.
you know, turkey
Very
to be
much
the
like
national
him,
bird,
according to my
while
wife,
it was
Mrs.
Washington and Thomas over here. They said, no, we want the eagle because they stand more for freedom or more for it being more, I think it's for freedom or some other things. I don't know. Something like that.
Does Mrs. Washington know you wear so
Just
much
a little
makeup?
interesting fact for you
One
there,
must wear
especially
makeup
since
when one
Turkey's supposed to
receives the
represent,
phenomenal amount
yeah,
of
when the
media
13
attention
colonies
that
came
I
here,
do.
what was the
It's
first
quite
thing they had? They
likely
had
that
a
I'll be president soon.
you know, Thanksgivings
Do you
over
think I
here.
should be the
Turkey was
ecology
in it, and it was
president or
plentiful,
the
so I guess that's why they would
education
pay tribute, quote unquote, anyways, to the turkey bird.
Right.
president? I think ecology is very important. Yes, of course, but
Do you
what
think
really
ecology is
matters
very
is which
important
one
there?
Sounds better.
Not really.
Do you really
Which one
have
sounds better?
wooden
Go
teeth?
ahead. Go
As
ahead.
a matter
The
of
only
fact,
thing
I do
that
make
they did
use of
right
artificial
for
teeth.
the American
I find them
government
to be
is when
far
it comes
superior
to
the
Washington
ordinary
here.
enamel
He was a
design.
general who won the war. Huh. Let's make him our leader.
Don't you have a
That actually
problem
sounds-
with splinters? I've been to war
Yeah, that actually,
before. No one who's
that
heard
actually
the thunder
is
of
true.
musket fire
See, this is
smelled
what I
the
mean
salt
here, like
out
how
of
he's
a
making
cannon
reference
shot
here,
and felt
like
the
this
fear
here.
in the hearts of his comrades.
Yeah, this is
He's
what I
going to
think
be
would be
bothered by
after.
a little thing like,
Just kind of like this here.
Lost it.
Yeah, because he has wooden teeth, you know. Splinters.
What
Joke.
about dry rot?
Yeah.
Hardly.
So,
Yeah, what
Omega,
about dry rot?
who knows? I'm not too sure of how wooden teeth looked back then. Something like that. We could come
My
a
Uncle
long
Henry
way
had
since from
false
those
teeth,
days.
too. Fascinating, I'm sure.
But let me ask something here, Omega. Just to go off, change the subject a little bit here.
What are you looking at?
So
out
for
there?
the channel here,
The
so what
future
games
of
did you
our nation.
think that you wanted to record here to show off on the Gamers Commentaries channel?
A system of free enterprise and opportunity?
I think from the way I usually like games these days, I'm more into the puzzle, also
Striking, aren't I?
These days I noticed a lot of historical accuracy games are coming out as well, like Assassin's Creed and whatnot. I wouldn't mind getting into those as well.
All right.
There are quite a few old school games that I've played and mastered, especially for back in the day. Some that people don't wish to play me on, but either way, it's mainly for logic puzzles are my forte usually.
So kind of like adventure games, kind of if the adventure games kind of, you know, follow logic sense, not, what's the word I want to use? Not Sierra's logic, if you know what I mean. Do you get what I mean by that there, Omega?
I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
Okay, so you know that one game called King's Quest 5? And that was the Sierra game? Yeah, one part of that game is that you had to fight a Yeti. How do you fight a Yeti? You use a sword, right? Nope. You try to, you know, do so many different things, but you have a pie.
What is it?
There, so what do you use? You throw the pie at the Yeti, and the Yeti falls off the cliff and all that stuff instead of killing it with a sword or something. You know, something sensible. That's CR logic, as some people call it.
Perhaps you've seen my picture in some important
but yeah,
scientific journal.
I don't really look into too much nonsense games such as that. I like humor when it comes to more something you can relate to,
Ben Franklin?
nothing that's complete.
Franklin?
That's out there.
I would never associate with that overstuffed goofball.
If it destroys physics altogether, that's understandable, but there has to be a reason behind it all. There has to be some background to it that you can easily see if you actually can look into it
What's
that
it
way.
look like I'm doing?
All right, you know, well, that does make sense. I mean, you know, actually, it really does. Every gamer has their own taste. For me, I just prefer to be in fantasy and away from, like, reality. That's why I don't really play games for, like, such as Call of Duty, for example. Why? That's like the major FPS shooter around. In a way, I kind of like Halo more. Why? It's futuristic, and I see it more as a sci-fi instead of, you know,
considering how it actually did have some actual events that can happen.
Yeah, it did.
Then it got much more popular than what seemed very tolerable.
That is true. I mean, like for me, I played the original 3, and after that, I kind of said, I think I'm gonna quit off it for a long time and come back to about 5 years later and probably maybe pick it back up again, maybe kind of thing. You know.
I usually point out in my posts on my Facebook that
Red Edison dude.
Games are being ruined by society based on the popularity of them.
Super battery, eh? Brilliant design.
What's a good example you want to say there for that?
Now all I need
I was saying with how I usually blog on my Facebook is when it comes to games, society is ruining them because they're basing them off of the popularity for them all. They're just trying to make a quick buck. Meanwhile, for me, it's more of, does it have any replay value? Is the script good? Are the characters good? Are they memorable? Is there actual difficulty in the game? Do you have to think?
And not just... Alright, so let me ask you something then. So, take a game like, something that's a platformer like, let's say an old school game, let's say like something like Banjo-Kazooie. What would you consider that game to be like then? Out of curiosity then.
That's a puzzle adventure. I can deal with that.
Alright.
It makes you think.
And what about the humor in there? Because to me, the one who really makes it all funny is Gruntilda, because she's speaking in Yoda rhyme. That's what really makes it funny here and such. To me, anyways.
Got to go.
But for because what is it here? If it was me here, I would think we could probably do some Sonic games on here. What would you say to that?
Sonic sounds good. Sonic's an old-fashioned racer, side-scrolling racer. I can deal with that.
Alright, so let's see here. Because I know, was it Brandon here? No, wait, Brandon? No, wait, what's that? Dang it, I can't remember his YouTube name now. I meant shit. Sorry, Pirate Prince. Yeah, it's been a while since I had to do commentary, folks. But anyways, Pirate Prince said he was going to probably record Generations when he gets the chance to. That leaves some of the other, other modern titles that some of us here could try to do here. Like for me, if someone didn't want to do Sonic 06, I probably would do it then. I don't think it's very much of a bad game, but story-wise, it's not that great because of saying, yeah, we're trying to be like Back to the Future when we don't have the right execution for it. That's just me personally saying that.
Right.
And let's see here. What am I getting set up here? I recorded this like a while back. What am I trying to do here? Oh, hey, look, there's Max right there. You see him there right in the picture there?
Yeah, I see him. He's still around.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to have to record one of those games of Sam and Max here. I really do like those games a lot. I think the one game I remember from LucasArts the most is probably Tentacles and Sam and Max. I never really grew up with The Secrets of Monkey Island. Did you ever play that game?
What was that?
The Secret of Monkey Island. Did you ever play those games?
I have not. It was on my list of games that I do want to play, but not really. I haven't been able to play it.
Well, if it's in Constellation 2, they came out with a special edition like a while back, kind of thing, and you can play it for either PS3, 360, or for the PC and such. So that'll probably give you a heads up for something to look.
Simple logic
Looks
right
like
there
a
for
big
Hoggie.
storm. See, this is why I never wash my car.
You know, that kind of happens to me too every now and then.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah, it always happens.
Oh, it's you.
Where are you going? What about your experiment?
But yeah, folks, this whole part, there's nothing really too exciting happening here, so that's why we kind of went off on a tangent a little bit here. But yeah, next part here, we're going to be actually doing some actual stuff here, something that's actually fun instead of just talking to everyone, just saying, what's going on here. But other than that, though, if you guys, like this part, comment, subscribe, do whatever, and have fun with it, alright?
Have a good one, guys.